Hey, what is going on, everybody? So I just wanted to make a quick video for you today comparing two colors of the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, just because I've seen some questions about it online, people choosing between some of the neutral color options and wondering which one they should get. Should they go with the Phantom Silver, which is typically more readily available, although in some markets it's only available in 128 gigabytes, or should they go with Samsung's online exclusive custom colored Phantom Titanium? So after messing with these both for a little while, I've got some thoughts on them myself. There are obvious differences, obviously the shade of silver or gray. Of course, on the Phantom Silver, you see that it also can refract tones of sort of orangish or pinkish and blue, but most of the time, if you are not getting a direct light reflecting off of it, especially from the sun, I am in front of windows and this is sunlight, natural lighting that's peering through, and most of the time it's just going to be kind of a silvery color. The Phantom Silver gives off a very steely vibe. When you have this phone in your hand, it feels like a block of steel, and in a really good way. It just feels super metallic. It is a little bit more reflective. If you can see from that angle, it's a little bit more reflective than the Phantom Titanium, slightly, but it's there, you can tell. When you have your hand over the Phantom Titanium, it looks more like a shadow, whereas there's some reflectivity on the Phantom Silver. I kind of like this a little bit more in that regard. And as a result of that, it also shows fingerprints slightly more than the Phantom Titanium. So it's not gonna be as bad as, let's say, a dark colored reflective back where fingerprints are very obvious, but it will show fingerprints a little bit more than the Phantom Titanium. I think the refracting of colors is overdone a little bit in photos and videos. When you have it in person, it's not super colorful. It's mainly just kind of a shade of silver. It really does feel like it's steel. And of course, another obvious difference you see is in the camera housing. So the camera housing, of course, matches the color of the metal chassis on the sides. I really like the material finish here on the camera housing of the Phantom Titanium. It's kind of that carbon fiber pattern. Really, really nice. I kind of wish they did it on here, but I can see why they didn't in order to match style-wise. But the downside of this black Phantom Titanium camera housing finish, in my opinion, is the black metal chassis. I think this would have looked much nicer if it was a shade of gray or gunmetal for the metal chassis bleeding into the camera housing. Same carbon fiber finish, but I would have liked it to be a little bit of a different color. From the front, you cannot discern this phone from, say, the Phantom Black. It almost makes the phone look a little bit bigger, and I've heard other reviewers say the same thing, that the Phantom Black just appears to the eye like a bigger phone than some of the other colors, because I think it's because of the black metal chassis. That's something to consider. Also, to me, it makes the the bezel on the bottom look slightly larger, because it's playing a trick on your eye a little bit, where you are seeing that the metal chassis on the bottom, and it bleeds into the bezel on the bottom, and it just kind of gives the illusion from certain angles that the bezel on the bottom is bigger, as opposed to the Phantom Silver, where you've got this silver metal chassis that's just obvious, all around the phone, and it shows you a little bit clearer, a little bit better that the true size of the bezel there at the bottom. So I like that a little bit better, because it gives the appearance on some angles of a smaller bezel than it looks on these color options that have the black metal frame, which include the Phantom Titanium, obviously the Phantom Black, but also the Phantom Navy and the Phantom Brown. Speaking of that metal chassis, I gotta say that for me, it's really not even close. I like this polished metallic chassis. It is definitely shinier, but not necessarily because the material is shinier, but the paint job on this black version here, on the black version, the Phantom Titanium, all the color options that use a black metal chassis, the paint job on there kind of dulls the finish slightly. It's still shiny, but not quite as polished looking as the metal chassis on the Phantom Silver version. And of course, the camera housing is the same color, but it's a matted finish but there's like a chamfered ring around each lens that's a little bit polished. So that's something else to consider. If you kind of want the phone to appear a little bit, I don't know, to be noticed more and maybe appear slightly more premium when it's at an angle where the metal chassis is showing, it's definitely going to achieve that look a lot more with the Phantom Silver. So here they are again in a couple different angles. And you may or may not see some of the fingerprints, but I would not call either of these a fingerprint magnet per se. You may have to clean the Phantom Silver off a little bit more, but I think it's worth it. Still, you do see that it's a little bit more reflective, whereas on the Phantom Titanium, a little bit reflective, but looks more like a shadow than reflecting the actual image that's behind that glass back. So from the top, the sides, bottoms, side with the power button and the volume rocker. So overall, in my opinion, I really loved this, especially in videos and pictures and all that, but I think the metal chassis being black has kind of dulled how premium this would otherwise look. It really should be it should be a shade of some kind of metallic, maybe a darker shade of this silver metal chassis that's on the Phantom Silver. And the back, I like the color, but in a lot of light, it looks more like a satin finish. It looks more like a satin finish where, again, you get the vibe that this feels like steel. It's just a really steely finish on the back. Both of them are absolutely beautiful, don't get me wrong. For me, these are the two best options. I also love the Phantom Navy and the Phantom Brown. But, you know, the Phantom Black, I mean, you can't go wrong with black, but there's really nothing special about that one. I've heard some people rave about it, others don't get it. You know, whatever your preference is. But to me, that blends in with so many other phones. People are going to see it from a distance and not even think twice, whereas the other options stand out a bit more. So in choosing between these, it was a little bit difficult because I love this camera housing so much, this carbon fiber finish, which you don't get on here. And this looks nice in its own right. What kind of broke the tie for me in having me decide to go with the Phantom Silver, even though I love this camera housing so much, is the fact that the official Samsung leather cover for the S21 Ultra, whether you get the black one or the brown one, actually has this carbon fiber finish on the camera lens. So if you want the same black carbon fiber finish on your phone, but your version of the S21 Ultra doesn't have it, then you simply need, you can get the black official Samsung leather case for it and slap it on your S21 Ultra if you want to switch up the look, and then all of a sudden this same kind of camera lens is on your phone. So I felt like I can get more variety like that. Sometimes I'll rock it without a case, sometimes with a case, and I've got other awesome leather cases that I've shown you in previous videos, third party, that I absolutely love. So for that reason, for me, the winner is the Phantom Silver. But again, you can't go wrong with either of these. Very classy, beautiful, beautiful devices, beautiful phones. Again, this feels like you're holding a block of steel. I really like the finish on this. I feel like the whole color reflectivity is a little bit overdone in photos and videos. It definitely feels more like a silver, although it will refract just hints of other shades. It's nowhere near as noticeable or flashy as, say, the Aura Glow from the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus. Whereas on this one, it's more of like a satiny finish on the back. Of course, they're both made of glass on the back, but just the finish kind of looks more like a satin. This is a darker finish. And like I said, I much prefer the metal chassis, the color and the finish of the metal chassis on the Phantom Silver than on this Phantom Titanium. So that's the difference in a nutshell between these two colors of the S21 Ultra, the Phantom Silver, the Phantom Titanium. Is it worth it for you to wait as long as it takes on the Samsung website for them to custom build this? Don't forget the Phantom Titanium, Phantom Navy, Phantom Brown are custom built on the Samsung website. You have to wait typically over a month to get them. If you really loved it and it's worth it to you, go ahead. If it's kind of a tie and you like both of these colors, but you don't want to wait that long, it's much easier to get the Phantom Silver because that's one of the launch colors right now. So only you can make that decision for yourself. I had to wait a while and then ended up canceling my order for the Phantom Titanium because it took so long, and ordered third party for it, but I'm gonna stick with the Phantom Silver. So I hope this helped anybody deciding which color of S21 Ultra to get. If you did, go ahead and like the video so I know what kind of videos you guys want to see. And if you love these tech videos in general, you might want to subscribe to be the first to know when another one drops. Stay safe, everybody. Stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.